I've tried to defend the team. I've tried on the road trip, tried after the first 5 games. They must not like me very much because they just come back and go, oh, you want to defend us, Jay? Well, now we're going to get blown out by even more than we did the night before. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners lose tonight 12-7 to the Phillies. Quite honestly, that score makes it look closer than it really was. They fall to 68-58 on the season. If you can do the big three for me, comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. Subscribe if you're new or lurking. If you can hit that like button, it helps out tremendously. If you're mad at the team, go over to the MLB page, find the highlights for this game. You can thumbs that down. But if you can give me a like, I do appreciate it tremendously. It helps get the video out to more people. Mariners are going to be a game and a half back in the AL West still. Houston gets beat up by Detroit. I think they're in the second. I think Boston lost. So I think they're tied for the second wild card or the third. The Yankees might have moved up, and they'll be 3-4 ahead in a playoff spot. I'm not sure. Kansas City was ahead, and so was Cleveland. But right now, I'm kind of like, Mariners got to get a W here. Hey, it's okay for a little bit to go, hey, they're still in good standing, but I need to see a Mariners win. The standings are there. We'll evaluate them. Maybe on the off day and stuff. But for right now, team's got to find a way to get a W here. And yeah, I talked about this road trip through the first 5 games going, hey, they're 2-3. It happens. They've played some close games. It's, not going to win every coin flip game and kind of go, hey, I think the team's going to bounce back. And they just don't like me because they just, instead of bouncing back, they just lose even harder, right? It's like Michael Scott dating Pam's mom. I'm just going to date her even harder now. We're just going to lose even harder now. In all seriousness, though, awful performance from Logan Gilbert. A legitimately unacceptable. And it's not a word I like to throw around a lot because it's kind of like, I always think it's weird when people say it because it's like, well, we kind of do have to accept it. It happened. But you cannot have starts like that. Logan was awful. And again, for like the 50th time, I've said this, I'm not expecting 7 shutout innings. This is a fantastic Phillies lineup. But he could have gone 5 and a third, maybe 2-3 runs. You're in the ballgame, right? No, just blasted in that second inning. Just a terrible performance. Following on the heels of George Kirby's awful performance yesterday. Truth, I would have killed for George Kirby's outing today. Maybe you would have had at least a chance to climb back in this one. No, but both were terrible and just unacceptable for a team with 35, 36 games left to have those type of performances. And while Kirby's been better as of late, and even Logan has too, they haven't been good enough this year to excuse these outings. Last year when these guys kind of struggled down the stretch, it had been a long season. They had thrown a lot of innings. I was a little bit more forgiving of it, right? It was the offense's turn to step up. Kirby and Gilbert obviously haven't been awful this year by any means, but they haven't been good enough to go, it happens. They just haven't been. They have got to step up. The pitching has kind of been the thing that's maybe held this team back from being in first place right now in the West. And it looked like it was turning a corner, and it had been really since the All-Star break. And now this is a couple starts in a row here, and actually 3 out of 4 because Castillo was not good on Friday. It gets masked a little bit because they win the game. But 3 out of the last 4 just been terrible performances, which aren't going to fly. Mets and Phillies can swing the bat, right? Again, that's why I said I'm not asking for 7 shutout, but even 5 innings, 3 runs, keep you in the game a little bit, give yourself a chance to come back and win this thing. They don't. This game was over in the second inning. Certainly the offense could have chipped away, but, Ranger Suarez is a great pitcher, and his curveball and changeup were on today. Mariners bats do get going a little bit against Jordan Romano, and then a call up for the Phillies, but it's hard to chip away at that when it's just boom and you're down by 5-6 runs. If you get down 2 or 3, yeah, you got to find a way to get a couple guys on, move them over, get some runs in. We're going to get down 6-0, 7-0. It is hard to kind of chip away, and against a good Phillies pitching staff. And again, it's kind of what I talked about yesterday. Like, this team has got to start making some statements, right? And beating the Phillies kind of would have, or not kind of, it would have been one. This has been a tough road trip. It would have been nice to go on the road and get a W here against a team that, certainly on paper, I think is better than you, or at least, the perception nationally would be that the Phillies are the better baseball team. They probably are. But it would have been a nice statement win, kind of like they did in Detroit when they went out there and won that game. And this Phillies offense, again, certainly much better than the Tigers offense. But just an egg. They lay an egg. And again, on top of not winning it, not competitive, right? To just come out and get blasted is so frustrating. And it goes back to what I said earlier in this road trip when they were 2-3, right? They had lost a series to Baltimore, won the first against the Mets, and lost that close second one against the Mets. I wasn't too angry because you played 5 close games, you won 2, you lost 3. Right? Like there's nothing to get too up in arms about there. It's just they played some coin flip games that didn't go their way. On the homestand, they won most of those games. Doesn't mean they didn't play good ball, but they won a lot of the coin flip games. And they just were going about 500 in them. And had they done that on this road trip, overall 4-5, and I guess they could still do that, but it would have been okay. But instead, you went from playing those coin flip games and losing them to getting really run out of the ballpark the last 2 nights, and the energy, effort off, just not there, right? I think the guys are trying. I don't think that Logan Gilbert's going out there intentionally giving up 6 runs for sure, but just bad, just bad performance. And Logan looked it too, right? Like the stuff looked flat. The slider didn't look good. The splitter he couldn't find. The fastball was missing. I mean, a 48 pitch second inning, just atrocious. The only guy that really did his job today was Carlos Vargas. He was phenomenal out of the bullpen. There were some good offensive games. All kind of came later a little bit. I will say this too. Oh, by the way, please, I don't want to see Casey Legumina on this roster tomorrow. For the love of everything, get him out of here. He's bad. I look at StatCast. I'm a Savant page guy. I'm always on there every day. I think I look at that in some regards. And I know some of Legumina's underlying numbers are okay. Sometimes you just go with the eye test. He stinks. And it's rare for me to say that. And I'm not, Mariners missed the plus, not Casey Legumina's fault, but my gosh, get him out of there. I can't watch him. I can't do it. I mean, those pitches to Bryce Harper, I mean, my gosh, what do you think Bryce Harper's going to do with those pitches? And, I'm going to get on Dan a little bit too. Mariners scored 4 runs in the top of the 7th. It's 7-4. Couldn't you have gone to Caleb Ferguson or Bizardo there? Someone to just kind of keep it 7-4 and maybe get the bats out there with Cal leading off in the 8th and maybe chipping away a little bit. If you don't score in the 8th, then fine, send Coar out there or whatever. But I mean, sending Legumina back out there, I don't know. I just, I get it. I get that Bryce Miller's probably not going to go very deep tomorrow. So if you want your full arsenal ready, but would an inning of Bizardo have hurt them that much there? And you keep it 7-4. Now, I'm not going to do the Mariners scored 3 runs because that was against Hoffman. The Phillies would have used Kerkering, then Duran or Strom's out there as well. So I don't think the Mariners would have won the baseball game. But who knows? Maybe Cal gets on. Maybe Julio finds a way. And you got the tying run to the plate. At least give yourself an opportunity. But if you score those 4 runs in the top of the 7th, then Legumina just gives them all back. So hopefully he's down. Someone's got to go down tomorrow for Bryce Miller. I actually might do 2 roster moves. Bryce comes up, and then I'd bring up another arm as well. Maybe send Coar down. I'd keep Saucedo. He looked fine. I know he might not be available because he pitched 2 1/3, but I would maybe keep Saucedo. I thought he looked promising enough. Coar and Legumina just not getting it done. But the bigger issue is Logan Gilbert, right? At the end of the day, I'm not going to look back on this game and say, wow, we didn't win this because of Casey Legumina. It was Logan Gilbert, an unacceptable performance there. I don't know what else to say with it. Just not good enough. Let's get into the box score. If I can pull it up here. There we go. Logan, 2 innings, 9 hits. Every hitter in the Phillies lineup had a hit before the 3rd inning. Now, this is not in Logan's defense for anybody thinks I'm defending him. Every ground ball found a hole. There was Castellanos, Kepler had a couple hits that were hit under 80 miles an hour that fell in. There was some BABIP there. But here's the thing. Anytime you have an outing that bad, you're going to get BABIP'd. If you score 11, 12, 13 runs in a game, you're going to get some BABIP luck. You can't score that many runs without a little bit of it, right? I don't think there's ever been a team that's put up 14 runs and all were just majestic home runs or doubles hit 400 feet off the wall, right? There's going to be some bloops in there. But Trey Turner and Real Muto hit him for home runs. Keep those in the park, and maybe it's 4-0, and maybe you do battle back a little bit. But just absolutely awful performance. That might have been the worst start of the year for a Mariners pitcher. Hancock against Detroit might win that battle, but I think that was more bloopy than this one. There was, like I said, there was a couple that fell in, but he was hit hard. That is a candidate for worst start of the year for a Mariners pitcher. Probably not, because if you factor in the Phillies lineup, it's probably Hancock against Detroit. But the fact that we're debating it, Vargas threw the ball well for his 3 innings. I don't know why you wouldn't use Legumina. I would have reversed that. And I'm getting nitpicky here, but I would have done Legumina after Gilbert And then maybe at 7-4, then you go to Vargas. And then maybe he keeps you in the game, if assuming Legumina doesn't give up all the runs. Or then if he does, so what? Like you lose 13-0, you throw it away. But Vargas was good. Legumina was awful. Coar wasn't very good in his inning either. Does strike out Bryce Harper on a nice fastball there, top of the zone. But yeah, I can't watch anymore. Casey Legumina. Offensively, Mariners do collect nine hits and a walk. They do score 7 runs in this game. A little I don't want to say misleading. They scored 7. Romano's struggled this year. They got some runs off him. Good to see Cole Young hit the bomb. He gets 4 RBIs on the day. Garver has a nice game with a couple hits and a home run as well. Julio hit the ball well twice, had a double and a single. So there were some, performances in here. Good to see Josh Naylor with a double. It's been a bit of a tough road trip for him. JP knocks a couple hits in there. That's good to see. 2 hits yesterday. JP may be turning it around a little bit here on this road trip. So they do end up with a good offensive day overall. But, I mean, none of that happened until the 7th. At the same time, though, Ranger Suarez threw the ball really well. This wasn't a game where I expected a ton of runs. To me, it even goes back even more of the blame on Logan, right? Because keep him in the game, maybe, you have that inning chase Suarez, and maybe those are the go-ahead runs, although I don't think Romano would have pitched in that situation. Randy 0 for 4 with a walk. Tough day for Cal. He was 0 for 5. Julio 2 for 4. I need a Gino hot streak. I'm going to need it. Gino 0 for 4, because truth be told, and I'm totally fine with the trade. I would not go back and undo it. But you'd be getting more value out of Ben Williamson right now. At least he'd be BABIPing his way to a few blooping hits. And funny enough, Ben is showing power now in Tacoma. He has 3 home runs since being sent down. I guess he has made a change in his swing. And if he has, Ben Williamson could be a guy. If he can get some power, I'm not talking he has to have 30 home run pop, but if Ben can get 10 to 15 home run pop, he changes a little bit as a player in my eyes there. That becomes a guy that I'm all of a sudden pretty interested in. Because God's honest truth, Ben would be giving you more value than Gino. He has better range defensively. Gino's got the better arm, and I think he'd be better offensively. Now, I'm fine with the trade. I think Gino's going to get on a hot streak. I still believe that he is going to have a few series where he's just locked in, doesn't make outs, and it's going to be worth it. This is not some sort of revisionist, why did they make the trade? Totally fine with the trade. Love it. Like Gino, but my gosh, get going. Naylor 1 for 4. Mitch Garver continues to not be the problem that some people think he is. Hits a home run and a single as well for a couple RBIs. Garver's absolutely fine to play against left-handed pitching guys. There's no problem. He's came in today with a 122 WRC plus against lefties, I believe. And it's probably gone up now. So Garver's fine. Garver ain't the issue right now. Certainly not this game. Dom was 1 for 2. Was also hit by a pitch. Did end up coming out of the game. Stayed in it for a while. I think he just came out for precautionary reasons. Hopefully he's okay. Hey, Luke Raley's alive. We got to see him taking at bat there. And I think he struck out. So Luke Raley does live. Probably won't see him the rest of the series with the lefties. JP 2 for 4. And then Cole Young 1 for 4 with the 3-run home run and then an RBI ground out. So a 4 RBI day for Cole Young. That home run was crushed. That was fantastic to see. I'm assuming that would have been a home run in every ballpark. Let me check that real quick. That was like a Schwarber, Bryce Harper home run there. And that's been so great to see from Cole Young, who now has, 4 home runs? Cole's showing some pop. I know that was one of the concerns, but he's shown enough. If Ben Williamson had that kind of pop too, it would be great. It would really make a great combination there. Cole Young's home run here. Let's see. Harper's every ballpark. Yeah, Harper's was crushed. Real Muto's was out. Where is Cole's? 0. No, that was a fly out. Okay, where is it? Yeah, Cole Young's would have been out in all 30 ballparks. 30 out of 30. Even Garver's was 26 out of 30. Garver's would have stayed in the ballpark in Arizona, Colorado, Kansas City, Pittsburgh for the record. Great to see that thing was crushed from Cole Young. Good sign. It's been one of those trips, guys and gals. Mariners are now 2-5 on this road trip. I'm also frustrated because I felt like this is one of the games against Philly that you could get. I don't love the odds tomorrow with Bryce Miller. Listen, the velocity's been back in Tacoma. I could definitely eat my words. Bryce was a tremendous pitcher last year and the year before, so I'm pulling for him. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but from what I've seen from Bryce Miller so far in Seattle this year, he's looked bad and banged up. If he's healthy and good to go, could totally fine with him making the starts. But I'm not super optimistic in his first game back and having it be against this lineup. And even if he is good, you're probably not getting a ton of length. So you're absolutely going to need the bullpen tomorrow. And then I think Castillo could have a tough time against this lineup. You're facing Christopher Sanchez tomorrow, who's fantastic as well. Not going to get any easier from Ranger Suarez. The Phillies bullpen is rearing and ready to go. One of the hopes there too, I forgot to mention, if you get Legamine out and go to Bizardo and keep it 7-4, maybe they have to use Duran. And at least he's maybe unavailable tomorrow, something like that. But no. So I'm just, and it's Kansas City won't stop winning. Cleveland's cooled off, but it can get tight really quick here. Thing on these big road trips, and that's why I say 4-5 is okay, right? If they were to win the next two, we'd all be okay with that. We'll even go, hey, listen, they found a way to win a series, had a couple tough series losses. You just can't crater on these road trips. And 2-7 is a bit of a crater. I'm actually at the point where right now, find a way to split the next two, get one win, get home, have the day off, and maybe you can beat the A's. But man, this team's either red hot or ice cold. Sometimes it feels and then those A's series, that's one we've seen in the past. They come home and then they struggle there. And, they're still in great position to get in the postseason, even still in good position in the division, because Houston and the Mariners are now having a mid-off for the AL West. Houston is scuffling greatly too, but, they've got Jordan on the way back. So, and hey, they don't need to win. You're the team that has to win. Let's check the other scores while I'm sitting here just yapping away. White Sox beating the Braves, couldn't do that against Kansas City all weekend, but it's so nice that you're going to win. It's not other teams' responsibility. It's Kansas City wins, and Cleveland is up 1-0. So you're at best 3.5 ahead of a playoff spot. So we'll see what happens. Frustrating. You never know. Baseball's weird. I'll say that till the day I die. If you're tired of hearing that, maybe Bryce Miller goes out, pitches a gem tomorrow, and find a way to get the win. Just be nice to see a W with the team scuffling a bit right now. So like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.